All right. Couldn't get it to work with the OBS for some reason. And I did all this prep work and I can't use it now. I'm like, dang, nabbit. Okay, so I'm going to quit this. Yes, quit. And now I'm back to mirror. Already got those up. Okay. I'm just using the YouTube stream. Hopefully, let me know if the level's any good. I'm not even sure. I quit it on purpose. Okay. So I'm just texting there in. Okay, there. Okay. Well, dang it. Now I'm going to have to draw diagrams and hold them up. I hate that. All right. So the level's okay. Let me play a little bit. Yeah, I think I've uploaded the other ones. Let me look real quick. Tom's bookmarks. I think everything's up there except the ones I did today. Yeah, I think I did a catch up. Yeah, there's pentatonic movie. So problems that they don't have numbers on them or anything like that. But here, I'll put up the 3 that I did today, this morning for our, and they're in the Discord. But not everybody's at the Discord. So I'm gonna do an invite here. Oh shoot, no, let me do it again. I'll do a permanent invite. Okay, this link should never expire. Hope so. But I did get someone comment, hey, you know, where do I find all this stuff? Because I referenced it in the videos, and then so I'm not sure what you're hearing me, right? What are we hearing me through? Check 1 2 1 2 1 2. Is it this? I'm not even sure. Interesting. I'm not even sure where it's coming from. If I'm going through the mic or the computer, but I turned up the mic just in case. I think that it was the mic actually. And so if it's the mic, then you're probably getting the guitar direct, and it sounds really thin and no gain. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. So let me just say the hellos here. We're just a couple minutes in. Pepper, of course. Good to see you. I got your video working on. You're still working on a Romance for Guitar. And yeah, so it's like it's a 9/8, and you've got your thumb every 9th beat. You hit a bass note. It's a good exercise. It's a really good exercise, and it's a beautiful piece. Let's see. Gary's here. Ed's here. Bruce is here. Roger's here. Bonnie, Anthony, Leo, David Sillers. Got a lot of the regulars. Gary. Yeah, so they're up at Discord now. If you want to go there and see pentatonic number 5, it's the last one of the 5. Oh, guitar is quite forward. Okay, I can turn that down. Except my volume control is really laggy on my computer. It's like it'll change in a minute. I hate it. I don't know what's going on. I need to get a new computer. It's one of my goals for the year is to get a new studio computer. Mine's getting really old. The power, I'm starting to really have problems with. I need more RAM, and I could upgrade the RAM, but it's kind of getting to the point where it's like, I should just get it. There it goes. It's this scale is a weird one because it's got 6 notes with your pinky, so it's kind of like but if we're only playing bits of it, we can play one, like George Harrison does on the Let It Be solo. He plays pentatonic number 5 to kind of start both versions of a solo. I think it's no, the other one is shoot. Now I can't remember the other one. Yeah, it goes to it almost right away. So this is the album version. This is the one I always knew. I never knew the single version. And it slides right from pentatonic 1 into key of C down to pentatonic I call it number 5. Again, don't be going around saying, Mr. Guitar Teacher, so that's pentatonic number 5. He'll be like, what are you talking about? These are my numberings that I came up with, and it basically just says, here's the order of them: number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5. And there are 5 of them, and they all share one side. They share a side, and that's something we're going to do either Wednesday or Friday. I've got a couple projects coming up that may impede me from. Frankie, good to see you, Frankie. Keith, I just noticed you, and Charlie. Sorry, I noticed you earlier, but I didn't mention you because I really don't like you, Charlie. Oh shoot. Yeah, now I'm going directly. Oh, nice, Gary. That's probably what I'm going to get. I'm probably going to get basically. I'm not getting an iMac Pro. There's just no. I don't want to spend $5,000 on them. I don't need to spend $5,000. But yeah, we may have problems. The other issue is blackouts. Now, we haven't had one yet, but it could happen at any moment. I know that they're rolling them, which is their way of saying, hey, we want to treat everybody equally when it comes to not providing power for you. And so I did notice that my power supply thing was saying that I think we were in a brownout because I was getting not 110 or 120. I was getting 95. So that's not good either. You like the inattention. Yeah, good. Me too. Hey, Franco, good to see you. Stephen Stout, good to see you as well. Sorry, I'm kind of scanning. But so if you are going to play, there are times where you may play a part of a pentatonic scale where you don't need to obey the proper fingering. The proper fingering, that's a sippable offense right there. I used air quotes. We have a drinking game. If I use air quotes, that's one of the rules. You get to take a sip. Hey, CodeMet, good to see you. Colorado, are you guys having fires? So the proper way to play this scale would be, to use your second pinky, first pinky, second pinky. Every other word I said there was pinky. And so that makes it kind of an unpopular scale. I would say pentatonic number 5 of the 5 is probably the 3rd best scale, maybe the 4th best of the 5. It gets props for being right next to the best one. So you're going to find yourself, pentatonic number 1, the main one, has this box right in the middle. 5-7-5-7 right here on the 4th string and the 3rd string. And And those same two notes an octave down are played right here in pentatonic number 5. If you want to start right there, we can start with that. So the 3rd fret, 5th fret, 3rd fret, 5th fret. And you could also play it here, 15, 17, 15, 17. Yeah, I don't like me either, so we're together on that, Charlie. And so that's kind of the you know what, I can print. You know what, I realized I can print. Now I don't have a color printer. I know you think, why don't you have a color printer? Because I hate, because I don't even say 99, 100% of the time I only print in black. You know, there are a couple times, like right now, it might be nice to have a little bit of color, but I'm sorry, it's just not worth it. Gosh, it drives me crazy. You run out of yellow ink, and I didn't use any, or it dries up and it won't go through the little hole, you know, where it senses that it's dry, and it won't let you print black because there's no yellow ink. And I'm like, I don't care. I don't want yellow ink. So here, I just printed this. This is the scale here. Now, see, it's reversed for me. There's probably a setting I can change, though I don't see any. But basically, this is the scale. That's the 3rd fret, and you see this big long row of notes here. Those are your pinky notes. Okay, and that's kind of what makes pentatonic number 1 so good. Is you got half of your notes to play with your 1st finger, which is a nice, strong, happy finger to be playing with. That's just hard to get that pinky involved that much. And like I said, you don't have to use your pinky. I mean, I wouldn't, if I was playing the scale straight up and down, like from bottom to top to the bottom, I would use proper fingering. I would go ahead and go 2, 4, 2, 4, like I just did just then. But if I'm only going to use a segment of it, for example, if I'm only going to be down here on the bottom 2 strings, on these 2 notes here, or on these 4 notes here, I could use my 1st and 3rd finger. So I wouldn't call it cheating. I would just call it playing more confidently. I really definitely wouldn't do anything like this. I wouldn't play those 4 notes with my 2nd and 4th finger, especially coming from here. It's part of the reason. That's called a box. That's called box patterns or box playing or box shapes. So I'm just using the same box, okay? So here's the other box. So the top of pentatonic number 1, our favorite pentatonic, is the same 4 notes an octave down here. Okay. So anything you do here is going to work there. Now you'll notice just right then that I didn't stick to pure fingering because I was trying to do a fast lick and I wanted to get a finger. So I could play it like this, but it's easier to play it with the hammer on the pinky and then reach and grab that note with the 3rd finger. This should be the pinky note. Yeah, totally. That's what I was playing, Layla. So tease it. I think that's in the key of E minor. But it's the same lick, and it's right there in that pentatonic shape. So you might find yourself down there in that part of this scale, which is the middle 2 strings. If you're playing in number 1 and you're sliding down and you're playing number 1. And you want to kind of play off of it, you could see. The thing is, I could do this lick, that lick there, an octave lower in the same pentatonic. See, I went, but it doesn't feel the same. But that feels identical. So in some ways, it's like, I mean, it's kind of like doing scales on a piano. A C scale in one octave feels exactly the same in the next octave, and so that's kind of, when it's nice to be able to have a lick and then be able to do it in a different octave and not have to totally refinger it, and kind of, you're essentially relearning it if you have to refinger it. How many boxes are there? That's a good question. Oh yeah, so many songs that are pentatonic. I mean, I played a lot of Stairway to Heaven solo, which is so much in this key, pentatonic. Why is this? Oh, I got it. It's loose because I got to adjust the Allen wrench. I'm like, why did this fall out? So and a box doesn't have to be perfect box. Like, for example, what's a good one? The bottom four notes of the pentatonic number 1, which is 5, 8, 5, 7. That shape, that box, even though it's not a perfect box, it's not square sides, repeats right here, and also up here. So as far as how many boxes there are, yeah, you could probably say there are 5. And then the next one. Yeah, so there are technically, I guess you could say, about 5 box shapes that repeat themselves diagonally up the fretboard. You'll notice that I kind of went diagonally this way on the fretboard. Okay. 4-sided nail file. I saw it at I think it was CVS or Rite Aid, and I went, oh, this is gold. And then, like, a week after I bought it, they were all worn out, unfortunately. But it's cool because it has, like, none of them are rough. This is all more of a finishing, but there's like a polishing. I think the yellow is a polishing. Oh no, that's removed. Smooth and the shine. And I'm always trying to, the frustrating thing is when I let my nails get too long and then they break, and then I don't have a nail. And right now I've been doing a lot of writing for pop producers, and I'm mainly doing it because I'm loving the sound of my nails. Right? So when I like the sound of my nails, I get a better tone, I think. So, box. I don't know what the BB box is, but I had a band in high school called BB Box. Sip. That's a sippable offense. If I say I had a band in high school called anything, y'all get to take a sip. All right, but let's just practice this for a minute. I'm going to talk you through it. I'm so sorry that my OBS software for some reason was not syncing up with YouTube. So I did all these these diagrams and I can't use them. I mean, I'm using it now, but I can't have them up on the screen with us. And I'm seeing a mirror now, which I actually prefer, but it means this is backwards, but I think you see it forwards. So I'm hoping you do. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to put our second finger, and this is great because all the acoustic players can play. Friday, we were way up at the 12th fret, and some people with acoustics may not be able to play up there. But we're down here so everybody can kind of join in, and we're going to play the 3rd fret with our second finger, and then so we get a little bit of tone. Then our 5th fret with a pinky, 3rd fret with a pinky, 3rd fret with the second finger, 5th fret with the pinky, 2nd finger with the 1st, 5th fret with the pinky, 2nd fret with the 1st, 5th fret with the pinky. It's hard to do. I did. Yeah, the stream key was right. It said I had a good connection, Dennis. The stream key doesn't change. I haven't made a change in it, and it always logs in. And it said the stream was good. It just, maybe that was the issue. Maybe they changed the key and didn't tell me. But Okay, and then because it remembers all the settings, and then third fret with the second finger on the second string here, pinky, top string, second finger, and pinky. I'm going to give you fret numbers going backwards. So 5 3, 5 3, 5 2, 5 2, 5 3, 5 3. And the chord, I mean, this actually it's funny because if you play if you play this chord, just take away this note. But if you play these bottom strings here, this, okay, that's a C, E, A, D, and a G. So that actually has all of the notes in the major pentatonic. We have C, D, E, G, and A. All 5 of the notes in the C pentatonic, which are, so we're C major pentatonic, would be C, D, E, G, A. And then the A minor pentatonic, same scale basically, but it just starts on a different note. Yeah, Dennis, I'll check that next Wednesday. I'll go ahead and load a new key. It's easy to do. So, if you play that, and again, don't play the 5th string. If you play this chord, that's what I call. All right, let me get a clean sound. Let me get like a rockabilly sound up, okay? Oop. All right. Good. So I'm in Guitar Rig in Logic. So I go to click on Styles, and I click on Country, maybe. Rockabilly Crunch. Let's see what that sounds like. That might be too gainy. Yeah, it's too gainy. Let's just do like a country twang clean. So like if I was in the key of C, I might do. Hard to do this. And so that chord, I kind of call that the Elvis chord. And so what I'm playing is X, 3 2 2 3 3. The notes are X, C, E, A, D, G. And the name of that chord is C 6 9. All you junior high kids out there are laughing. Now, if you play all the top notes on pentatonic number 1, you would have the same chord, but with a high C on top. Yeah, so that's kind of a rockabilly country chord, anyway. So that's just an aside, an observation. And now I'm all out of tune. And so what we'll do is we'll practice this a couple more times, up and down. I'll give you. I think frets are good. Fret numbers are good. If I have to give you this, the fingering and the string and the fret all at once, it's like so confusing. We'll just go systematically up the strings from the bottom to the top. Okay, so we have 3 5, 3 5, 2 5, 2 5, 3 5, 3 5. Okay, backwards. 5 3, and then again 5 3, and now 5 2, 5 2, 5 3, 5 3. And if we were playing, let me show. So one of the reasons a pentatonic 5 is not horrible is because it has 3 A's in it. So it has 3. One of the A's is this note here. So play that. 5th fret on the bottom string. And then 2nd fret on the 3rd string is an A. And the 5th fret on the 1st string makes sense that they're the same. Okay. Those are all A's. And so those are your kind of, those are the roots of the A minor pentatonic, which you would use to play over an A blues. So I've got this A7. pad here. Let me see. Here it is. All right. But see that pinky, having that pinky so involved is really makes it kind of counterintuitive. So you want to bend that C up to C sharp. There's the other A. And if you're going to do a lick like that, you might want to use your third finger instead of your pinky, or alternate. And then the other A is right here. There's the blues note. So, let's go all Rick Beato on you guys with the pads. So let's go ahead and do it one more time, ascending and descending, and try to get it under your fingers, as I say. Actually, that was something my teacher, Carl Verheyen, would always say, get it under your fingers. And so here's 3rd fret, 5th fret, 3rd fret, 5th fret, 2, 5, 2, 5, 3, 5, 3, 5. Hello, Kathy. 5, 3, 5, 3, 5, 2, 5, 2, 5, 3, 5, 2. Again, we'll do it again. I'll go slower. 5, 3, 5, 3, 5, 3, 5. I'm sorry. What am I doing? My brain just shut up. I was going 3, 5, 3, 5, 2, 5, 2, 5. Yeah, I know, right? 3, 5, 3, 5. Now backwards. 5, 3, 5, 3, 5, 2, 5, 2, 5, 3, 5, 3. There, you can end on the A if you wanted to make it sound more like the pentatonic. Now keep in mind, check it out. If I play that scale starting on my pinky, it sounds just like this. Pentatonic number 1, which is part of the reason why people don't use it very often. Because if I want this sound, I would do it there because it feels so much better. You got more first fingers and very few pinkies. So. So yeah, so that pentatonic number one is number 1 for a reason. But like I said, there's 3 A's. There's only 2 C's. And let's see, we had pentatonic number 1 has 3 of each. That's the only one of the 5 pentatonic scales that has 3 minor roots and 3 major roots. And in this case, where we're playing it, 3 C's and 3 A's, and I touched my face, so that's a punitive sip. So join me in our drinking game. And so, well, they put too much cream in there. It's like, man, it's like a milkshake. And so that's one of the reasons why it's the best one. Pentatonic number 2 had 3 C's and 2 minors. Okay. Pentatonic number 3, which is our least favorite one, had only 2 of each. Pentatonic number 4, which is the one we learned on Friday, that one has 2 of each as well. But it's not bad because it kind of feels like pentatonic number 1, and it's placed over like the root for the minor and the blues is in the first finger, so you can kind of find it pretty quick. So if you missed that, go back and watch the 100th lesson. This is 101. And then I'm going to do a video maybe today or tomorrow. I haven't decided. Okay, we all get to sip again. I got to take. I wish I could add some coffee to that. I need to get a coffee machine, and then I don't need Starbucks anymore. But that one, like if you're playing the power chord here, the D power chord. That's pentatonic number 4, and that one feels pretty good over that. So it's easy to find. That kind of gives scales kind of a leg up. If they're easy to find, if they're based around a chord you play a lot or a shape you use a lot. And again, this all kind of comes back to caged method. All of these scales, in fact, so the chord that this scale is based on, the shape that this one is based on, is the A form. So here's the A form C chord. This is a C chord, but it's A form because it looks like an A chord. See? And that represents 5 of the notes in that scale. Yeah. I should have an endorsement with Starbucks. They should be paying me money for drinking Starbucks in front of y'all. I haven't, Dennis, I haven't really thought about that much at all. So the video I want to do is going to be on the introduction to DADGAD. My DADGAD videos are very popular, so I thought maybe piggyback on some of that. Yeah, I did. I think I've come up with a name for the. I think I'm going to call them, like, what was it? Super basic guitar lessons. And we'll see. I mean, that's a big undertaking. And right now my views are down on YouTube, so it's making it difficult to justify the time. You know what I mean? And I know it's this kind of weird counterintuitive thing. It's like, well, maybe your views are down because you're not creating new videos. But the problem with the very basic or super basic guitar lesson series is that I couldn't just do like 5 and go, okay, let's see how they're doing. I'd have to do like 30 of them. And I could do probably 5 in one sitting, and then chop them up into, different lessons. But again, that, there was also going to be a lot of editing involved. So it's just one of those things that kind of fell by the wayside at this moment. And it may still hit on it, and another thing I could do is, they were going to be short ones. I was going to keep them all under 10 minutes, but they were going to have 4 sections to them. And one was, and I was going to try to slowly without having a quiz, teach people how to read music. There won't be a quiz on it. You can take a sip. That's a celebratory sip. So we'll see what happens. I mean, I was really going to start, unbelievably basic. I mean, you're basically learning one note kind of at a day kind of thing, or a lesson. And they would be short enough that I would probably keep them under 10 minutes. The only reason to go over 10 minutes is because once you get to 10 minutes, you can put a commercial in the middle. And I might do that on those because it would help me justify it if I started to make some money on them. It would justify me continuing doing them. And I would put the commercial break in a logical spot. I would actually record it in such a manner that there would be a card at the beginning of each section. And so, I mean, that's kind of, yeah. Thanks, Dennis. Yeah, you're going to need a hall pass. Definitely, AJ. But the pentatonic number 5 has 2 C's, and the 2 C's are here and here. So that one on the bottom isn't bad. So like if I play the pad in C, it's a C triad. you have one of the roots on your pinky, but then the other one's on your second finger, which is really nice. But it's also really low. So when you're generally soloing, if you're in a trio, you can get away with low notes. But if you got a bass player and another guitar player playing power chords, you're going to want to jump up above everybody. So you're not going to be playing down there. But maybe if you're up an octave. So that's just kind of playing around the C triad. That's the C triad. If I were to play over an A minor triad, and all of these notes are in, I mean, all the notes in an A minor triad are in this scale. So there's no conflicting notes. But there's your root now, down there on the pinky. And then the other one is here. Here's the other A. Here's the other A. Hey, Pepe! I saw your video. All right, so and that's just A minor, and then the other thing I played over was the A7, but I'm not going to do that right now. All right. So let's do little 4-note groupings of these. Sorry, touched my nose. Cheers. Take a little sip. Take a little, right? So the bottom 4, we could probably just go with. So we can do it. Let's do that. Go. And we can use our first and third finger if you want. So go third, 5, 3, 5, 3, and then end on the A. That'll work over the A chord. If we want to end on a C, we're in the key of C. We've heard that melody a million times on a million. So there's our C. So let's see. Or just go up to the D. So G, A, C, D. G, A, C. I thought it was great, Pepe. I thought it sounded great. Really good, actually. Okay, now let's go to the next pair of strings. So we're going to be on the 5th string and the 4th string. So third fret, 5th fret, 2nd fret, 5th fret. So now we are going to have to be pure about it and use second finger, 4th finger, 1st finger, 4th finger. And those are the same 4 notes that are on the bottom of pentatonic number 2. So you'll start to see there's only so many shapes. There's the box shape, the 2-fret box shape. There's the 3-fret box shape. There's the 2 and 3, 2 frets to 3 frets, and then there's the 3 frets to 2 fret. And I think that pretty much covers them all. So, because we have two possible fret distances on the guitar with a pentatonic scale: a whole step, which is 2 frets, or a minor third, which is 3 frets. Like at the bottom of the pentatonic number 1 is a minor third, and the next interval on the next string is a major second. So those are the only 2 shapes we have. So when you do like I like to use binary. You can say, you got ones and zeros. If this is the one, or if this is the zero, and this is the one, then you've got, and if you only have two strings, then you've basically got four possible combinations: 1 1 0 0 1 0 and 0 1. And that's sorry, I know that's kind of geeky of me to point it out, but that's basically to show you that there's not that many variations within the pentatonic scale when you're talking about just two strings. So when you're working on these little two-string snippets, there will be a lot of hand familiarity. Your hands will feel like, oh, I've done that before. The other thing is, if you're wanting to work on playing really fast, it's good to start out with little teeny chunks, like little bite-sized pieces. A lot easier to play fast on a very small chunk. Then you can add a string or skip a string. I'm just showing off. Not that hard, actually. I see 7-year-old kids do that, so it can't be that difficult. Not that you guys are lame or anything, but I mean, you're lame for watching me. That makes you lame. So that's another snippet, and that's kind of the that's what was that? Is it a New World Symphony or something? But that little snippet, the 2 4 1 4, is in the key of C is 1 2, the root, the second, the third, and the fifth. Shoot. So that's one. I'm playing 1 2 3 5 over the changes for giant steps. That's what that was. Just an exercise. It's funny, you can tell when I'm having to concentrate. Like I raise my eyes, like like that. And you know what's crazy is when I'm recording and I got my ears in, I got my earbuds in, my in-ear monitors in, and I do that, it changes the sound. So not only am I like struggling with something, all of a sudden the sound really changes when I raise my eyebrows because it changes the size of the holes in my ear. And it's like, whoa, I'm like, nah, I'm definitely going to mess up. So, nice. Gary, that sounds amazing. Okay, now the next shape is 1 4 1 4 on the middle two strings. So it's these two strings. And again, that one's super familiar because it's the same as the top two strings on pentatonic number 1, except down an octave. Okay, and then, well, I have to take back what I said because those shapes now. Let's see. I forgot about this shape, which is the same as this technically, musically, but fingering wise, it's different because we're thinking. So it's that shape, it's those notes, but the feel is a little bit different because, again, keep in mind, it's all because the stupid guitar is tuned the way it is. It's perfect fourth, and major third, and then perfect fourth. So all the pentatonics have to make an adjustment to accommodate the way the B string is tuned. Now, keep in mind, guitar originally when it was tuned, or lute anyway, and I have a lute, I don't tune it this way. I'm probably not in tune either. But it's normally would be tuned, and this is basically like capo at the 3rd fret. So I have G. Oh, I got mutes in here. And the reason I had the mutes in there was because I was only playing on the top few high strings, you know, since I'm. And I was getting too many sympathetic vibrations, sympathetic harmonics. Oh, the AC kicked on. I can feel it. But in the day, back in the day, this would have been tuned. So right now, I have I'm not going to talk about the bottom two strings. This is an eight string pairs. But it would, if I capo the third fret, this is what I have the tuning: G, C, F, G, C, F, and then I have B flat, D, and G. So it's just like I capoed at the fifth or third fret. Okay, a little out of tune. That's where James Taylor capos for Fire and Rain. So, but back in the day when they first started lute music, the instead of having a B flat here, it would have been tuned down to A. So you would have had that major third instead of being between the third string and the second string. It was between the fourth and the third string. And I'm not sure when it changed. Guitar has pretty much always been tuned the way it's been tuned. But lute, which is the father of the guitar, and oud is the father of the lute. On this instrument, it's always been, you know, technically back in the day, and I play it standard. I know some people tune it the proper way, and the music's written for it. So there's sometimes voicings that are almost impossible to play unless you have it tuned. The ultimately what's happening is you're tuning the G string down a half step. So if you were to do that with a standard guitar, instead of having a G, you'd have an F sharp. Really has no bearing on anything we're talking about, except it's one of those things where even before the guitar was tuned the way it was still tuned with a major third. If you were to tune a guitar in perfect fourths, it would be maybe easier to play solos on, but it'd be more difficult to play chords on. It'd be very difficult to make major and minor chords, simple triads. You could play 3-note chords, no problem. But as far as playing like big 6-string chords, it'd be very, very difficult to play. So anyway, it's a pretty cool. I did a review of this a while ago. It's beautiful though instrument. Hard to play. I should have just gotten the 6-course one because it's tough to, you know, you're used to just putting your thumb on the bottom string, and that doesn't work on this thing. So, and the strings, the bottom two strings I have tuned down to F and D, so I can actually get down a whole step below a normal guitar. So it allows me to play low strings actually. So yeah, Middle Ages exactly. I'm using it, and I'm in the middle of using it on a game called The Pathless, which is the same people that made Journey and Abzu, and so it's the same composer. I'm pretty sure it's the same game. So yeah, it's a fun lute, and wasn't that expensive as far as that goes. I think it was made in. I think it's made in. Shoot, I want to say Afghanistan. It's made somewhere weird. Georgia, ex-Soviet Union. I can't remember. But very, very well made. The same company that made my balalaika. So, and that was kind of my instrument last year. I need to get a lap, Hawaiian lap steel acoustic, a Weisenborn thing. So, continue a guitar to sounds like a. Yes, well. What I do usually, if I'm going to, in fact, this guitar has a capo at the third fret. If I'm going to play lute music, I usually just capo at the third fret, and that makes it much better. So. So if you capo a nylon at the third fret, you have if you want to make your guitar sound more like a lute, you can do that. And that's what I would do. The other thing you can do too is you can buy lute sound hole covers for your classical guitar that just sit in there, and you can take them out and put them in, whatever. But what that does is on your classical guitar, what it does is it gives it a little bit more of a choked tone, a little quieter tone. So it sounds more like a lute. But if you're having a problem with volume, like people hearing you at a restaurant, you wouldn't want to use that. But this is I keep changing guitars. So you keep getting you guys are going to be going to the bathroom just because. Oh, I didn't drink when I changed to the lute. In fact, I need to check right now and make sure I don't have files that I need to add lute to. I don't think so. Nope, I'm good. Okay. Check my Dropbox. Okay, now, so the next thing I want to do, I'm hoping to do it on Wednesday or Friday. And again, if I'm not going to be here, I will know enough in advance where I can put notices in miscellaneous places. But I want to take a chart of the whole fretboard. Hopefully, I'll be able to get the OBS synced with. Hopefully, Dennis is right, and it's just the stream key was. I needed to update the stream key. If it was that simple, I'd be bummed because I should have tried that. But let's see. St. Arbuck's is what I call it, not Starbucks. St. Arbuck's. The Church of St. Arbuck's. So what I want to do is go through the whole fretboard, and what we're going to do is we're going to go. Hopefully, we can do this together, and then you can do it. You can do it multiple times, and the other thing is you can do it in all sorts of different keys. But we're going to take the notes in the pentatonic scale, which we can think of as we could do A minor, the A minor pentatonic, A, C, D, E, and G. We're going to find those notes on every string in order, and we can start on the string. And there's another beauty of it. I remember the book I mentioned a while back. I think one of you bought it too. It may have been Leo. I think you were interested in it. The Advancing Guitarist, and it was one of those books I bought where I was really disappointed because it didn't have exercises, and then I really started reading it. Which normally when I buy guitar books, I never read the text. Like I don't know. I just got this one. I'm like, it was kind of unimpressed. And I'm like, is there any text? There's really no text. So it's just some licks. And I'm like, I know all these. And it was very, very short. I was expecting it to be much longer for the price. It's only like 12 pages of music. I mean, it's just nothing. So not happy with that book. But I should do book reviews on here. I have a ton of them. But it had less exercises and more text, and I'm looking at it, I'm going, aw. And then I decided, okay, I'm actually going to read the text of a guitar book, and oh my gosh, it's the Pumping Nylon is great, isn't it? The Pumping Nylon, yeah, this one, I've got this one out, but yeah, it's brutal. I mean, it is brutal. Are you crying yet from pain? But it's really good for dexterity and speed and things like that. It's really Scott Tennant's a great guitar player. He's part of the LA Guitar Quartet. I've been around for probably 30 years now. So what I want to do though is go through, and so like that scale, I said A, C, E, or A, C, D, E, and G. We don't on this E string. We start with the E, and that's one of the notes. So we hit open E, and then the next note is G. And the next note is A. Well, the reason I brought up Advancing Guitarist is because you can play like solos on one string. If you had a one-string guitar, you're still good technically. So I'm not going to do it on this string, but let me play. So I'm going to play on the G string. Starts out G, and then here's your A, C, D, E. Okay, let me just throw up that A minor band or pad. But you get the idea. You can play you can play once you know the notes of the scale on the string. You can play the whole solo. You can improvise on that one string. And that's a great exercise because what it does is it really helps you get to know the neck better. And I chose the G string mainly because that's one of the strings that's sometimes harder to learn the notes on. Everybody learns the bottom string if they're learning power chords. A, G, F. And then by default, if you know the bottom string, you know the top string. So you've got 33% of the strings taken care of. And then the next string everybody tends to learn is the A string because you got power chords that you use there. And a lot of times the way people learn the D string is by looking at the octave. So like what note is that? Well, it's octave above this note, which is G. So that's how a lot of people learn the D string. And a lot of people just kind of have sketchy, like I always had a hard time finding the E flat on the G string for some reason. Once I realized that, then I just said, okay, if it's E flat, it's the one I don't know. There it is right there. So, but basically, all right. So let's see. What are people saying right now? I don't see any stop signs, so nothing for me. You guys are just talking amongst yourselves. Yeah, there's more text in Pumping Nylon than there is in most books. But yeah, it's you feel it. It's like the book Pumping Nylon. We're talking about the Scott Tennant book, which is great for anybody who's interested in like getting good at classical guitar. This thing has great exercises. There's a few pieces in there, but a lot of pictures and texts and ways to think about things. And really, I mean, here's the thing about like particularly classical guitar professors and students and players. They really get into the minutia of playing and the mechanics of it. And there's so many guitar players that famous guitar players that just like bang out songs and they don't even ever think about that, the impact of how the fingers hitting this. They don't think that small. And so it's not necessary to like dig in that deep and go, okay, how is my nail shaped and how is it striking the string and how is the flesh, all that stuff is, okay, here you go, Pepper. I can put a link up so you can check it out on Amazon. And then, like I said, you can tell I'm playing it because it's falling apart. Yeah, there's some pieces in here, like speed burst exercises, things like that. And the idea is to help you get faster. I'll generate a link for it because I did that before. And then, let's see, Pumping Nylon. Spiral bound. Interesting. Well, this one's cheaper. That's cool. I mean, this one's only $16. You got options here. Yeah, advancing guitarist is cool because it really gets you out of your ruts. If you're a player, and I think McGoodrick is a teacher at Berkeley in Boston, and there are some really good teachers there. Pat Metheny taught there for a minute. One of my good friends, he actually he took lessons with him when he was there, and back in what it would have been the 70s, and he showed me some of the paper and was like that. It was really cool. It was all in Pat's handwriting and stuff. And then Pat was a kid when he was teaching there, and his ability to think over changes was just like, oh my gosh, I never ever got to that place as a jazz player. I can fake it, but I can't. I don't know what I'm doing, and I'm not even that good. And sometimes my problem is my brain gets in my way. Like Larry Carlton, like Lukather told me that Larry Carlton told him, Don't think, play. And that's really true. That being said, I've analyzed a lot of Lukather, and I've thought a lot about a lot of Lukather and Carlton solos. I've analyzed them both a lot and went, oh, this is why they did that or whatever. And they probably were just like, hey, I'm just going to solo. And it just showed up. But again, the foundation of soloing is going to be in knowledge and scales. But then you kind of want to forget that. I think about perfect example of playing on a string is Lukather solo to Talk to You Later. I think it's a B. He does something like he's going. Something, he does like. But he does a lot of stuff where he's on one string. So that's another thing you can do to kind of get you out of any kind of excuse me slumps in your playing, is to really just go through the scales like the key of B and do it on the B string. Try to do groups of 3. That's groups of 4, sorry. Or you could do the key, like you could do the key of A flat on the G string. So it's definitely a way to kind of get you to think more this way, long ways on the fretboard and less just scales like this. So that's always, it's good to have the dexterity to play them. And like I said, I told you this a while ago, I saw Pat Metheny like 3 years ago for the first time, and I was like in third row center staring right at him. And I was amazed at how much, and I think I have a Pat Metheny sound. No, do that. But how much he played pentatonic shapes, but he just used them so well. Like, for example, like you're playing over C major chord. You don't necessarily have to play a C major pentatonic. You can play other pentatonics that have different sounds. Let's see, where is that? There it is. So like over the C, let's see, I'll pull up the C. I could play. So here's the C major over that. Makes sense. If I play D major pentatonic. But it's the same shapes. So everything I know here in C major. It's as easy as playing in A minor or C major, but it has a much more interesting sound. I've got the major third, I got a sharp, I got a major 7th, and I've got a sharp 11th. I could go down to B flat major. And it has kind of more of a C7 sound. So it's cool to play around with the pentatonics. So they're not just meant for basic rock and roll stuff or Oh, interesting. Okay, I'll have to watch that. Gary. Gary was saying that Rick Beato's latest is Larry Carlton improvising over Joni Mitchell's Amelia. And my favorite Larry Carlton solos, aside from his records, which are freaking depressing. And I loved him as a kid, but I was like going, I don't know how he's doing any of this. But is Kids Charlemagne with Steely Dan off the not Katie Lied, off a Royal Scam. Yeah, well, Gary, I mean, the just get one scale, if you got the pentatonic scale under your hand, you can play music with that, and then you can try moving notes around and see what, just experiment. Your brain is amazing. Your brain, I'm talking about Gary's brain in particular. Gary's brain is amazing at hearing something and knowing whether it's working or not. Anyway. Yeah, you don't need a lot of notes to start to noodle around and come up with ideas and it's all about getting to that zone. Yes, I think way too much myself. So I'm not able to speak to you from a place of total success in this arena. However, generally, I do know how to kind of get to that place. And we talked about it recently, about how, how to get to that place where you're in the zone. And it's a lot of combination things of knowing what you're playing over. In the case of this, it's literally one chord. You can set up a pad on your, if you have an Apple computer, you've got GarageBand, you can create a C triad pad. Just get a pretty good spread on it. Like put some C's down here and C, E, G, C, E, G. Make it wide so you got something to play over. And then if you get a little bored with it, you can start adding some notes. And if you can sing along. There you go. That's always fun too, Gary, playing slide open tunings. And what chord am I playing over there? Is that's the major? So if I do the same thing over the A minor. Of course, I should be playing all in this scale because this is today's pentatonic number 5. All right, and it's up on the Discord. Do I still have that link? No. Let me grab that link real quick, and I'll make it permanent. The problem is, okay. All right. So this is A minor chord, pure A minor, A, C, E, and that's it. I didn't add any sevenths or ninths or anything to it. And I got my Pat Metheny tone kind of up here. I'm adding that blues note in there, which doesn't sound very good if you sit on it. Sorry, I did get sidetracked. Leo. Okay, so the zone is when you're in that space, when you're soloing, when you're playing your best, and everything seems to be working. And I'm more likely to get in that zone when I'm in the studio recording for a record or something like that. When I'm with a bunch of people in the room, it almost like I have to get to the zone. So I get there. Live, I rarely get to the zone. I rarely do because I don't know. I'm just more hyper aware of what I'm doing. If I was soloing in every song in a live situation, then I would say I would be able to easily get in the zone. And the times that I have been in bands like that, yeah, I was able to get into the zone. But when you have one solo in a set or something, it's hard to get in that zone. And if it's in a worship context, which is how often I'm playing live, you really don't want to be flashy or anything. You just kind of want to play something that supports the song. And I don't even like taking solos in worship songs because it takes away from the time that the congregation has to worship. So when I was leading worship, I never put solos in any of the songs. I just wanted to have wall-to-wall worship the whole time because it was limited time. Okay, so the steps to get in the zone, one is know what you're playing over. Be very familiar with it. In that case, it's one chord, so you're immediately familiar with it. Know your scales, or a scale that works, or a couple scales that'll work over that chord progression or over that chord. Make sure you have a tone that you like. If it's a garbagey tone, you're not going to be inspired. You want a tone that's inspired. You might want to add a little delay, a little reverb to it, like I have here. Here, a little delay, some reverb. Actually, a lot of reverb. A lot of compression, too. Right, turn that off. Actually, I like that better on. And then I think there's a couple more that I came up with before, but another one, a fourth one. So know what you're playing over, have some parameters of what you're going to play over that, get a tone that you like, and then make sure that you can hear yourself in a good balance. Oftentimes, if you can't hear yourself, you can never get to the zone, right? How many times have you been playing and you're like barely hear yourself, and it's like you're either going to hit bad notes or you're just not going to have any confidence. The other problem, though, the other side is if you're too loud, you're also not going to have any confidence because you're going to be freaking scared by your volume. So, and it's just going to be, you won't be able to hear what you're playing over, which is a really big part of it. So, oh, it freeze. Okay. Well, hopefully we're still good. And then the fourth thing is just, that's the fourth thing is make sure your mix, you're in there, but you're not like, I like it to sound like, where is it going to be? Where am I going to be volume wise on the record? I want it fairly close to that. Because, and a guitar solo is going to be a little hotter than a normal rhythm guitar part, right? Because it's got to stand out. You may have to turn up a little bit because you're going from chords to single notes. So you may need to have some kind of booster that will take you, if you're going to use the same tone as you did for the chords for the solo, you may want to hit something that will kind of boost your volume up because you're going from hitting 2, 3, 4, 5 strings to hitting 1 string. So you're going to lose a little bit there. That's kind of the fourth tip, is to kind of get to that place where it sounds good to you. The tone is good, the mix is good, everything sounds really good, and that will help you get to that place where you're playing your best. And the zone is kind of a place that's outside yourself. It's almost one of those things where afterwards you go, wow, it was almost like an out-of-body experience. You'll listen to the solo and you go, wow, did I do that? And it's where you're playing more from the heart than from the head. You kind of get the head and the fingers out of it. I find, like I said, that singing, even if you're not a singer, you can try to sing along with what you're playing. And the idea behind that for me is that, and initially you're going to be like, you're going to be delayed. You're going to be singing behind what you're playing because you're imitating it. But that's not ultimately where you want to be. Where you want to be is you want to be imitating what's in your head with your fingers. So you want to go bum, da, 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 da. You want to kind of get that point where you can actually have ideas up here, where you're unlimited, and then get them down here where you are limited. Your hands and ideas, your hand's not going to come up with any idea on its own. So that's kind of what getting in the zone is all about for me anyway. And I'm sure there's other players that have different ways to get to the zone. For me, another one is just plain fear. Like I said, when I'm in a session and there's people waiting around for me to get a good solo, I find that I know that I'm going to do a better solo if I'm not thinking too much about it. But if I think too much about it, then I'm going to try to insert something that I think, oh, this will be cool, or I'd like to try this, and then it never works. It's more about trying to, one thing you can do too, this has nothing to do with necessarily being in the zone. It has to do more with creating a good solo. Is if the solo section is over the chorus chords, like if there's a chorus, then learn the chorus, melody. If that's the melody in the chorus, now you got a solo. You can start on that and you can build on that. You could build on that melody and do almost like a theme and variations, or at least let that melody kind of inspire so that it sounds like the solo fits with the song. The last thing you want to do is, if the melody is, you maybe don't want to go. So, that would be like, wait, what? Maybe you do. Depends on the thing. I actually had to do a solo like that the other day for a what was it for? It was for a game, but it was for a segment of a game. Like was somebody on the game was playing like that kind of thing. So I had to kind of imitate it. But yeah, I've done that before. But I'm not an Eddie. Eddie's one of those guys that baffles me. And I'll tell you the thing that baffles me. This is off subject, but actually pentatonic. Pentatonic number 5. Last pentatonic we learned is this one, and we're gonna map out the whole neck. I think is the next thing we're gonna do. But the thing that baffles me about Eddie Van Halen, and I don't know how many of you have ever played really loud. I mean, like really loud. I have, and it's like trying to wrestle a tiger. The guitar starts making everything makes noise when the guitar is really loud. I mean, if you're talking about like a solid body guitar, even if every string, if you don't touch the neck, it'll all feed back. Everything there makes noise. Any mistake you make is amplified. It's just there's a fear factor. There's kind of an awesome factor. I've played so loud at times where you can actually feel like the chunks in your chest. Not so much anymore because of earbuds and all that stuff. That's not so much a thing. But I remember the first time I played through a Marshall, it was Rick Bennick's, my friend Rick Bennick, who passed away, 2 years ago now. And lifetime smoker. And anyway, he let me play through his full stack Marshall at rehearsal one time. It was the first time. I was like in high school, and it was like, oh my gosh. I couldn't believe it. How much air was being moved. And Marshall cabinets are very directional. They don't have ports in them generally in the back or anything. Mine doesn't. And so it's funny because if you're, if the cabinet's here and you're over here and you walk in front of it, you really don't hear much. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh my gosh, your hair is literally blowing. And then you walk past it and you don't hear anything. So it's like those things are real directional. You stand right in front of it and just hit a big E power chord or something. You feel like a god. I understand why, they call them guitar gods, because you really do feel like a god when you're creating that much noise. And so the thing that baffles me about Eddie Van Halen is that he's playing the most intricate rhythm stuff, and somehow he's muting everything. Like you watch him play, and he's between his left and his right hand and his whammy bar and everything. It's like Some guys actually have little mutes that they throw down on the string so the strings won't ring out. And that's kind of like, that's not cheating, but they can do like two-handed stuff and not have to worry about strings ringing out that they don't want ringing out. But Eddie, I don't think ever did that. And he just the cleanest player. And just, I don't know, it's just in tight, like something. I'm not on the right tone for that. So I never really. He was a little bit like when Van Halen got big. I was a jazz snob, so I wasn't really like into learning him. But okay, I'll see you later, Leo. And the other thing I would do when I was, and that I think helps me get into the zone too, is just to jam along with records. Put a record on that you like, your favorite record, and just start soloing and try to figure out what key it's in. You can even make a list, like the set list of the songs and go, this one's in C, this one's in D, this one's in E, this one's in F. You can go right down and make sure that, okay. And some songs may not be that simple. Like Steely Dan songs are not always easy to solo over because they don't really just stick to one tonal center. They may be all over the map, have multiple key changes. Same with Barry Manilow, but his key changes are generally always going up. So, in the unlikely event that you're going to jam along with a Barry Manilow record, just know if the key changes, it probably went up a half step or a whole step. So, all right. So on Wednesday, and like I said, I will probably, if I'm not going to be able to get together on Wednesday, because I've got a couple projects that are kind of getting ready to drop soon that I've got to work on, and I'm actually going to be going away to work on them. So. If that happens, I will try to use all three platforms: Discord, the YouTube community, and my Facebook page to let everybody know that I'm not going to be there. The other thing is I may need to cut back some more on this. We'll see. I'm stopping early primarily because I'm trying not to get too tired. It's so hot right now. That I want to get a lot of work done today, and this kind of wears me out a little bit. I don't, because I'm old, so I got to keep I got to keep the revenue stream going. So I got to keep writing music, and and YouTube has kind of pulled back a little bit on the revenue. So but anyway, I haven't decided yet. So at this point, I'm still 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 11. There is a chance I might change it to like 9 a.m., which I think almost makes more sense because I do think that there would be more Europeans watching if I was on at 9 a.m. And I know my California peeps would probably be watching. So let me know if 9 to 10:30 is my time, which would be noon on the East Coast, if that works. The other problem is if I go to 1 o'clock my time, that's 4 o'clock on the East Coast. It's like almost time for dinner. And in England, if I go to 1 o'clock, that's 9 o'clock at night. So the other thing is if I start at 9 in the morning, there's a chance I might get the occasional person in Australia, New Zealand, Thailand, who happens to be a night owl staying up to midnight or 1 a.m. And they may be able to catch me because right now, nobody there catches me because it's like, it's like 3 a.m. when I start. So let me know. And then, age is just a number. Oh, story time. Oh, shoot. All right. Well, see, where's Diane? Diane didn't hit me up for story time. Is she even here? Can I tell a story without Diane? I did send myself a couple stories. I may want to do at some point. I want to do the clown joke, but I don't know that okay. So I did the Fernando Kenny Loggins thing. That was last week. That's a pretty good story. This one's a short one. And I asked Gary. Gary, are you still there? Oh, Diane's there. Okay. Diane, is that the first thing have you been here at all? I do not see your emoji anywhere. You're a lurker. You're a lurker. So, okay, Gary, you're still here. Okay, so did you? I saw. I forget what you said, but the phobia for church potlucks. What's the official Latin name for the phobia? You know, but triskaidekaphobia is the fear of the number 13. Arachnophobia is the fear of spiders. Claustrophobia is the fear of tight spaces. Yeah, Charlie used to be a lurker. Finally got brave, came out of his shell. So sure you can. And Diane's like, nope. Oh, do I have a 101 story from teaching? I probably have some stories from teaching, but this one is so you had hot hernia phobia. So okay. For years, my first worship leading job that I actually got paid to lead worship at was at an Adventist church. And they met on Saturday morning. So it was, it worked out. I could do it. And I basically, one of the things that Adventist churches do a lot is they have potlucks. They'll have a meal after church every week. And of course, being the worship leader, I would get invited to these things. Oh, you got to stay. And I always had to go to another church afterwards. Like, I would be done at noon, and I'd have to be at another church at 3. So I had 3 hours, but I had the kids with me sometimes, and I'm like, no, we got to get home. We got to get the kid. We got to go get. And so a couple times we said, oh no, we can't stay for the potluck, and then people would come by and they'd see us at Wendy's just down the street, and I'm like, dang it, trying to get a little bit of trouble. But I'm just not a fan of, it's like, at a restaurant, even the worst restaurant, they have some cleaning standards. I used to go to this restaurant in Pasadena that I went there all the time, like 2 or 3 times a week. I probably had food poisoning from there a couple, 3 times. And the place is not open anymore, but it was a Pasadena landmark for years and years and years, called Burger Continental. And I was talking to a cop later. I said, oh, I was bummed that Burger Continental closed. And he said, yeah, I couldn't go there. I go, really? Why not? He goes, well, because I know the people and the health inspectors, but even in a worse restaurant, at least there's some oversight. But in people's kitchens, I've been to some people's houses, and there are a lot of people out there. A lot of you people out there do not clean or not clean enough. And so I'm like, yeah, I really, really have zero interest in staying for a potluck. And nothing against the Adventist church, but the other thing that, they do have some things that they're like, one thing, they do tend to be vegetarian. And so they won't have a lot of options for us meat eaters, us carnivores, that are very tasty. Let's put it that way. So I think I probably went to 1 or 2, maybe through the years, but avoided. I think I probably led worship there maybe 8, 9, 10 years. Well, my last weekend, they said, no, you have to stay. You have to come to the potluck and everything like that. And I was like, okay, so I had the boys with me, but Emma and Beth couldn't or something. They were sick or whatever. So that was totally fine. Yeah, you really don't want sushi at someone. Yeah, no. And so I'm like, I reluctantly agree to go. And I tell the boys, and there's just a big table with all the pot plants. And there's, 50, 60, 70 people there. And for them, this is a weekly event. So I'm like, I'm like, okay, guys, we can find some stuff to eat. We'll find some things. They had like faux turkey, and I'm just like, yeah, no, don't have to do that. But they had a bunch of things that that were like they had potato chips. Okay, cool, potato chips. They had fruit salad. Okay, grab some fruit salad. They had carrot sticks and celery sticks with, ranch dressing. Okay, good. We can go for that. It was even harder for little, the boys were pretty young. So they were probably like 8 and 10 or something, or maybe 10 and 12. And so it's a little tougher even for them. I'll eat anything pretty much, but I'm still, Yeah, fair enough. Well, and I also have macaroni and cheese. I'm like, cool, let's get some macaroni and cheese. So that's, macaroni and cheese is no brainer. So we get, we fill up our plates and we're eating, and people are coming over and saying thank you so much. And I'm not getting to eat very fast because, because everybody wants to come over and say thank you and talk to me and stuff, say goodbye. And so, but I managed to, eat my mac and cheese and some potato chips and some carrot sticks or whatever. And then I look over at Alex's plate, and he's got mac and cheese too. And I look at it, and I'm looking at it, and I go, oh, I didn't notice the caraway seeds in the mac and cheese. And then I look closer, and it's not caraway seeds. It's those little black bugs that if you leave your pasta open, they go in there. And I mean, most of the church was older ladies, and I don't even think they could have seen them. So I had already eaten what I call now mac and fleas, because it was what was in there. It was some kind of little bug. I had already eaten mine. I mean, I survived. But yeah, sorry about that, David. But it was like you can't call it a phobia if it's based in reality. Phobias are fears of things, fear of heights, it's like, yeah, but you're tethered, or yeah, but you're in my dad had a fear of heights, and he could not go to football stadiums up there. He had to be like as low as possible. And it's like, yeah, but you're not going to just spontaneously fall down the stairs or anything like that, but he would get vertigo. So I don't know if it's really technically, Gary, if it's a phobia or if what, but that is macaroni and fleas. That's my mac and fleas story. I did not throw up. No, I did not. But I didn't make Jack or Alex eat their mac and fleas. But this is the kind of thing I'm telling you about. It's like, it's bad enough at a restaurant. You don't know what's going on behind the scenes. I like restaurants where the cooks are right there in the open, so you can see them. I like those restaurants. Those are really. It's funny too, because everybody's experiencing this, especially in the U.S., where all of a sudden all the restaurants are either having to or they're choosing to have a lot of outdoor seating. And in Europe, that's the norm. I mean, not in England because it rains so much, but in Paris, yeah, for sure. And they have these giant awnings in front of their thing, so it could be raining in Paris. It doesn't matter because everybody's sitting outside, under awnings. In Italy, that was definitely the case. There were times where we're sitting in our chairs in Italy having pizza or something, and cars are going like 3 inches behind us, like 30 miles an hour, just hauling down the street. I'm like, oh my God. You got the kids are sitting on the inside. I'm like, but I think there's real benefits to that. And a lot of the restaurants in Europe, they have very little indoor seating. They have most of their seating is outdoors. And I think it's probably because they've gone through hundreds of years of plagues. And they probably came to realization after about the 10th plague that, like, wait a minute, people sitting inside were more likely to die than people that were sitting outside, So I think, and the other thing that in Europe, they do tend to have, one of the things I notice a lot, particularly it was true in Paris, was that they put the kitchens in the front, so you can walk up and order something there and then take it to go, right? Because you're going home and eating. Because people have small apartments and they don't have Costco's in Paris or London, where you go fill up your car full of 7,000 rolls of toilet paper and 400 boxes of mac and cheese. So, let's see. Oh, wait. Oh yeah, Peppers. Charlie, I remember Peppers. It's still there, right? It's Peppers is Peppers is is that Spanish food? Is that like Mexican food? So sorry. Oh, when you were living in Lyon, the outside markets were selling meat on the street without a fridge. Yeah, I know. Isn't that weird? And it may be where people like they build up an immunity to that kind of thing. Like if you and I might get food poisoning, but they wouldn't because they've already had it 10 times. But I do think, but I do like having the kitchen in the front. I think sometimes that makes sense. Again, Europe's been doing things a lot longer, and they've had chances to reorganize things. So yeah, Oh, you never got sick. Yeah, I really want to go to Lyon for the Light Festival in early December. I think that would be amazing. Were you ever there for that? Look up Lyon, Lyon, France Light Festival on YouTube, and you'll see some amazing things. Yes. So to be honest, I don't know that I've ever been to Peppers, but I had a neighbor that would go there and get like their the biggest burrito every Friday. He got the same burrito every Friday. I may have gone once or twice with him. I just don't remember. But yeah, Peppers was, yeah. Yeah, and the food in Europe is very fresh. Oh, do you have a phobia list? Is there actually? I'm looking it up. Fear of dirty dishes. Yeah. And I have friends that are like that are germaphobes, and they really, I mean, I've gotten dirty dishes at restaurants. It's kind of like the food's already on it. You're kind of like, sometimes it's just, you can tell it went through the dryer, but it was a little bit of like pasta sauce or something they let it dry too much so it's not like it's not been purified in hot water. So, yeah, in fact, Van Halen, the lead singer, David Lee Roth, grew up in Arcadia, and Van Halen's grew up, I think, in Pasadena. Horrible, Charlie says. So there's my story. So I hadn't told that one before, I guess. Never drink water from the tap in France? Really? I thought you could. I don't remember ever getting Montezuma's Revenge there. I know in Mexico, and that's hard because you take a shower, and how often do you go, you don't want to do that in Mexico. So, but bottled water is everywhere, so that makes it fairly easy. Oh, nice. Okay, I'm touching my face so we can all take a sip. Okay. So anyway, that's yeah, no, Dennis, you're right. Dennis is saying that, the more unsanitary meals you have, the more resistance you are. I kid about that. In fact, we were talking about that. We had friends over yesterday swimming, or Sunday swimming. No, what was that? Saturday swimming? And my friend, she's kind of a germaphobe, and but she's also worried about, with all the hand sanitizers and with all the masks, the common cold is going to start killing us because our immune systems are so like weak now. I used to joke, I told her I don't really ever think about it. I mean, I could lick doorknobs and it wouldn't bother me. In fact, it's probably a good practice. Go around licking doorknobs. It's just, yeah, because I think, I know that like Beth, when she first started teaching, got sick a lot the first 2 years, but after that, she never got sick. Because she was around little kids, and little kids have boogie nose or whatever, snotty nose. So, all right, let's see. Oh, I see. Yeah. All right. So I'm going to check out. Sorry, I had to do the live stream this way and I couldn't have my graphics, but I did upload to the Discord. Let's see if I still have that link. Let me post that again. Oh, I already. Weird. Oh, delete. Let me grab it one more time so it's at the bottom here. Copy. And I think this one's good. So if you're just now visiting, and you want some access, Tom's Homework, I think, is the page, right? Tom's Bookmarks, sorry. Tom's Bookmarks is where you want to go to get you can download all those things and print them up and have a whole book of stuff we've done. So, oh, nice. Yeah, I loved Vienna. Was great. Really loved Vienna. I'm hoping to go. My trip in the spring got moved to next fall, so I'm over a year away from maybe going back to Europe. That bums me out, but Probably looking at London for a few days in November. And then I want to take Beth and figure out where we're going to go from there. So you guys take care. And I will talk to you soon, Wednesday or Friday, hopefully for sure. But I'll post if I'm not going to be here. Take care. God bless you guys. Bye-bye.